everyone, I'm Chloe and welcome to my YouTube channel and first ever video. I've been so excited to make this and talk through my thoughts while creating this sketchbook spread. But now coming to the voiceover, it feels really weird to be speaking aloud because it's 1 a.m. in my bedroom and I live in London. We've been in pretty much a state of lockdown for the past few days, all of us working from home. I've barely left the flat as a result, and the only people I've spoken to aloud are my flatmates. So the idea that I'm talking to someone possibly in a way right now and that my voice might be heard elsewhere in the world is a really crazy thought. Anyway, I'll get to this sketchbook spread. I did just do a very quick sketch beforehand with watercolour pencil, which washes out when you apply water. It's really handy. I would recommend it for those who would like to maybe pencil out an outline of what it is that you want to paint if you know you don't want the lines to remain there underneath, and it obviously doesn't involve any rubbing out. I used a small Winsor & Newton field palette set and I was really impressed. It was incredibly compact and the pigments of all of the paints were really gorgeous. Very opaque when you needed them to be, but also they could create very delicate washes and borderline transparent colours if you were trying to be super subtle. So yeah, I would recommend that, and I'll have a link to that in the description below. I think it was about £12 or something, so really good value too, and obviously good quality being Winsor & Newton. I also used a Pentel brush pen and fine liners, and they were all waterproof, so I could do watercolour washes over the top. I didn't intend for this to consist of a 2-page spread. I really just came into it wanting to develop my line work and to practice architecture. Using my waterproof brush pen, go over the top with wash, and I think the style of anime and manga suits that quite nicely, so I thought what better reference than the bathhouse from Spirited Away, which is a movie that I've loved since I was like 10 years old or something. And Studio Ghibli films have always induced a sense of melancholy, and the imagery is so beautiful, and I've never tried to replicate it myself or any kind of anime or manga. I really just love how watercolour washes and ink translates so nicely into that style. But then I quickly realised that this sketchbook isn't particularly well suited to watercolour. The paper is quite flimsy, and so I thought a better idea to maybe do some smaller drawings alongside on the opposite page to see how it handles wet media before I then go over to the bathhouse and paint over the top of it. As you can see, when I started filming this video, I had already drawn the inking of the building out. So then I thought, okay, maybe I could collate some kind of Studio Ghibli themed sketchbook spread. And I was thinking, oh, this could actually be quite a fun project. Maybe I could do a little bit of research into the other creatures in Spirited Away. So I started looking up the soot sprites and these little humanoid paper flying creatures, which are rather sweet, and also No Face, the spirit. And I thought it could be quite a nice way of filling up my sketchbook, you know, choosing a theme for a 2-page spread. I'm doing a little bit of research, thinking about how I can create a cohesive composition and a flowing project almost from page to page. I've wanted to incorporate sense of looseness into my art that I feel that I've been lacking in. My style has been I try for it to be too refined and controlled. I find that when I come to creating art, I enjoy it the most when I'm more loose about it, and I find that also creates some of the best results. The parts that I enjoyed of this painting were actually the parts where I felt as if I was almost meditating. I'm not sure if other people have a similar kind of thought process, but I enter like this state of mind where I'm not thinking about what I'm doing at all, and I'm not thinking about anything really, but weirdly at the same time conscious of where my hand is on the paper and where my pen is creating lines, or where my brush is creating washes of colour, but not particularly thinking about it, just letting my hand kind of guide it across the page, seeing where it goes. I haven't used a brush pen in years, I don't think, and I've always loved how it looks, how it conveys a sense of effortlessness and the gradients you can create with the amount of pressure you apply to the brush. I do apologise as well for the sound quality of this voiceover. There is a lot more that I do want to talk about, but I'm currently recording from my phone, and so I think I'm going to try and keep it to a minimum for this video. But hopefully in the upcoming ones, I'll be able to talk to you a bit more about my creative processes, my thoughts, how I approach artwork when I sit down to paint. And I'm thinking I'm going to do similar kind of videos like this, speed painting with voiceovers, and they're going to be themed with the aim to fill a sketchbook, approach each 2 pages or so as if it's a collective, and have a different theme for each one. I think I did this over the course of 2 days or so, and I tried to make the most of the daylight that I did have, but obviously we're still in winter at the moment, so that was quite limited, and I continued to work into the evening just with my desk lamp. I realise it may be a bit annoying, the difference between daylight and artificial, but I hope you can bear with. So there is my Spirited Away spread. I really do hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please do consider subscribing. I'll have all the supplies that I've used listed and linked in the description box below, and you can also follow me on Instagram if you like. I'd love to be part of a dialogue with the artistic community. I think that would be so fulfilling and enriching, and I'm really excited to talk more about art. Have a swell day, and I'll speak to you soon.